Alright, I'm back now. Alright, as you can see, I have already worn the black spandex cap on the dome cap itself, sorry, on the mannequin head, and I'm also going to be putting on the mesh net on it, and then I'm going to sew it all together. At least while I do that, you take note to see, then I'll explain to you in the course of the tutorial why that is done. Kindly hold on even as I do that. Now remember I said the reason why I prefer the net inside is when you do the crochet on the mesh net, the hair residue is covered by the mesh net that is underneath the net, or rather this particular mesh. That is just the reason, and then it makes the work neater. So you make sure everything synchronizes with the net that is there, and after you do that, you remember the thread and needle I showed you, the elastic thread and needle. You pull it through your thread, and then you knot the end, and then you do that. You make sure that you sew the mesh net together with the spandex net together. Now remember I said I hardly do the work without holding the crochet, sorry, without holding the mannequin head on my laps. It's more easier, and then compared to putting it on the stand itself. So I will choose to remove it, and then I will show you how you can go about sewing that. So you put the needle from the inner. I'm sure you can see now. Now when you're sewing, make sure you don't sew it tightly. You give some space, though even if it's tight, since the thread is elastic, you will not really have any issues with it. So basically you just keep sewing and you keep going. And then of course, if you're sewing, you have to be careful also with your fingers, so that you don't get to injure yourself for no reason. And remember, if you're sewing, you make sure you keep it almost to the edge of the mesh net and then the spandex cap itself. Now I may not be sewing till the very end. I just want to show you how it's like. Now let me pause here. I'm sure you can see the mesh net and the spandex net is sewn together now, and then after which we will come back and then start the crochet wig itself. So hold on, I'll be with you shortly. Thank you. Alright, now we are starting the crochet itself. Now remember I said one pack makes one full hair, supposing we are not cutting it. So this is the length, how it looks like, and this is how the hair looks like. It's a synthetic hair and it's that soft. Then of course, since we are not cutting, we are making the full length, you section the hair to the size that you would like, but I would advise you section smaller pieces. Let the hair remain at the end of the day, and then you can fix it up, than for you to section using larger portions and then the hair gets exhausted or gets finished. gets finished ahead of you finishing even the hair itself. So this is how I'll be sectioning it while we start the crochet wig itself. Now let me keep this here. Now what you need to do, you make sure, I'm not sure if you can see me clearly, but what you need to do, you make sure the hair is, make sure that the length on each side is the same, so that you don't end up having one other portion longer than the other. And then you open your crochet hook just as it is, and then you put it underneath. Remember, we've already sewn the dome cap together with the mesh net, so you push in through, and then you turn it the other way. Now because the large hook is open, it's easier for it to have penetrated. So what you now need to do, remember the way the hair is, this is how you put the hair, and then you hook it, you hook it on the latch, and then you close the hook, and then you pull out. Now the moment you pull out, you can decide to remove the hook, and then using your fingers, you open the space, you pull in the hair all through, then turn it again, pull it through again, pull it through again. Now I did mine 3 times. You can do as much as 4, as much as 5 times, but I realized 3 times is okay, because even twice, you do it twice is still okay, because I don't see how it gets to detangle or unravel itself. So 2, 3, 4 times should be okay for you. This is what you do. Now the reason why we are starting at the edges is to cover up the edges itself, so that by the time I get to show you in depth of the almost finished work I have here, you see the reason why we decided to go with starting the crochet hair at the edges. There's a reason for that, but this is what we need to do. So I'm going to do that again, so that you will at least have a hang of it. So make sure the hair is of the same length. Open your hook, put it underneath, and then push it through. Remember, the latch should have been opened, and then you put in your hair. Now you close the hook before you pull the hair. The moment you pull it, you remove your hook, and then you put, or rather you hold the other edge of the hair together, you pull it through, and then turn it, pull it through, turn it, pull it through. Remember I said you can do that 3 or 4 times. Now sometimes it may not be even, you may do some twice, some 3 times and all that, but all the same it won't really matter. So let's do that again. Peradventure I was too fast, you couldn't see. You open your hook, your crochet hook, and then just push it through from underneath, and then just pass the head, and then of course cover the hook itself, and then you pull through. 1, 2, 3. Just pull it, and then this is how it should be. Now you keep doing same till you've covered the base from the back to the front, coming back to the same place that you started. This is what you need to do. Now I'll be with you shortly while I do 1 or 2 things. Alright, now remember what I said. I will explain the reason why you first of all start with the edges. That was the outer part of the mesh net. Now after assuming everything is done, then of course you start interjecting your crochet wig all over the head. Then what you need to do, remember, since we have that's the little holes, that's the mesh net itself. When you start, you make sure you give a space of say 4, 5, 6 holes. Now this way you get to evenly distribute the hair so that it doesn't get concentrated on one part, and at the end when you're done you realize the hair is heavier on one side or fuller on one side than the other. So what you, and then of course sometimes you just use your intuition. It may not be perfect in the sense that it may not be, say you're leaving for 4 space or 10-10 and all that, but then you see that at some point you balance with the way you're doing in other areas. For example,